Hi guys. My name is Habib. I'm a web developer, both Web 2 and Web 3, and a software engineer. In this video, I'm going to be introducing you to what we call web development, introduction to web development. Uh, for a beginner is pursuing a career in tech, one of the stages you need to know, which is one of the fundamentals of tech that you need to know, that you need to aware of, is web development. The first stage is digital literacy, whereby you need to know all about how to operate computer, how to browse and all the stuff of computer, data processing and desktop publishing, all those ones. So having known that, the next stage you need to move on if you're pursuing a career in tech is web development, which we'll be talking about. We're explaining some of the terms, some of the terminologies, and the types of web developments we have. So, without further ado, let's start. So, as you all know, it is not a new thing that the new technology called internet is here to stay, and it's not gonna. It keeps improving every blessed day. Let's keep going, keep improving, keep people are keep like moving from the real life to the life of internet. For example, we share information, we gather information, we communicate, we educate ourselves with it, we even entertain ourselves with it. As we all know, all the population of the world, the world's population, like over 4.66 billion people, we are online as of 2021. So keep even businesses are moving on internet, their financial business, any other business we can do without using internet. So this is internet, which we know that when we're talking about internet, it's just like connecting, it's like in contact, connecting yourself, connecting ourselves from one place, you know, all the, over the globe, from maybe Nigeria. In Nigeria, you can communicate or connect to someone out of the country. You can connect from USA to Mexico and the likes. So let's look at what are the basics of web development. The first thing we'll be looking at, or let's say the terminology of web development, the first thing we'll be looking at is websites. What is websites? So websites are made up of what we call files that are kept on servers. So as a digital literate, you should know what we call file, right? So all those files now, they are made up of websites are not made of that file, and which will be kept, which is kept on servers. What do we mean by server? Servers are just like a machine that stores your files. You get that store your files. So servers are linked to the internet, a very large network. So what server actually does is to store your information, store your files that you use to create the website. Then it's linked it to the internet in order for people to access it all over the world. So from there, we all know what's website now. It's just like it's made up of files. It's just like a files, a multiple files, like more than one files, are made up of website. You get, so why it is kept on servers. So and the servers are just what's it called? There's gonna link all those files to the internet for people to access your website. Now the next thing we're gonna be looking at, which is the browser. So the browsers are computer programs that load web pages via your internet connection. Yeah, so what browser just does, browser is just like a passage that make your website, like to make your website look visible to everyone and for users to also interact the website or to one another as well. So by using what we call internet connection. So everything based on internet connection. Now examples of browser we have are Chrome, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, whereas the clients, which is well known as well as a computer, are the computers that access this website. So once the website is once for example your website is on a browser, so there are some computers or your device that will access that website are called clients. You get, so they are good, they will be the one to like connect, like have access to your website. So how do they have access to the website, and how does websites connect to someone else's computer? How did the server, the whole server together with browser and the website, how did they interconnect? So that's what will lead us to what we call an IP addresses. So an IP address is just like a unique, a specific set of number, I guess, that differentiates you from billions of websites and devices linked to internet. Each device has an IP addresses. Definitely, it's basically an IP address is just like a unique identifier that identifies each and every devices. So that's why both website, application, whatever that is linking to internet must have what we call an IP address, because it's this IP address that makes that give what's it called? It's just like a as an identifier, as I said, it's one that makes your internet connection identify one another, identify from one, okay, this is from this device to another device. So it's one that is making a connection. It's just like the identifier, an address. Just like for example, let's relate it to the real life scenario when you are living in a particular place. So the place you are living for people to identify you in that environment, you need to be living in a house that will have an address, right? So you see each of that for example, in the street, you have like number one, number two, number three, number four. So each of house in that street will have a unique identifier, which is a number. So the same thing is just like, let's look at the internet as a house, sorry, as a street where we have different houses there, which those different houses they has numbers. They are numbered. You get, we have one, two, three, four, five, and the likes. So that's just how the whole internet is. So for you to now be identified, for your computer, your devices to be identified, it must have what we call an IP address. For example, if I could go to my own terminal and show you my own IP address, like using ifconfig. So let me show you. You can check it yourself on your page. Just use ipconfig if you're using Windows. If you're using Mac, use ifconfig. Just use on the terminal. Use on this your terminal, something like this. Yeah, so ipconfig is ifconfig, like something like that. Ipconfig. I think it's ipconfig for what's it called? Ipconfig for Windows, or for what's it called, for Mac or Linux, you use ifconfig. So with that you get the IP address of your what's it called, of your computer. So this IP address is the one that whenever you connect to internet is the one that is going to serve as an identifier for a website, or let's say for the internet to identify your own device, that your device is connected to particular. That's the one that is making your own device to connect to a particular website or any browser you're using, you get. So that's an IP address for you. Now the next thing we're going to be looking at, so we now ask that, okay, what now we have an IP address, the identifier was there. Then how did they how did they how is the resources being transferred from one place to another? This is what will lead us to what we call an HTTP. What do we mean by HTTP? What does HTTP mean? It's a remote server that hosts all website data. It's connected through the hypertext transfer protocol. You get now. So our remote server, the server, as I said, is the one that stores files of a website, right? So this guy is being connected to what we call an HTTP, which is known as Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So what is now a protocol? A protocol is a set of guidelines that specifies how email should be transmitted over the internet. You can navigate between a website and set aside pages with it. So what HTTP just does is just like a transfer protocol, as I said, just like an intermediary intermediary between you and the internet. So it's one that transfer it's one that stands as an intermediary, yeah. So it translates your what's it called, whatever you want, your own language, whatever you put in, like I want to search for a website, I want to search for something. So it's gonna translate it from your own language to the internet. So that's how the internet what's it called, gets your information, gets what you need, then it's going to translate again what the server is directly, what server send back. Just like you're requesting for something from the server, then the server will send it back to you. So the passage, like what we do the transmission, what we do like transfer the what's it called, you guys what's it called, communications, what will make you guys communicate, you and the internet, is what we call HTTP. Is what we call an HTTP protocol. You get. So that's just what's it called? That's an HTTP. So the question is, how can we now do this? How can we use this? How can we get the HTTP what's it called, request? How can we make it work? So that's when what we call coding comes in play. What is coding? Like writing code using programming languages for servers and applications is refers to coding. So the art of you writing a code, a particular code, a particular programming languages to a server or an application is refers to what we call coding. So the reason they are referred to be languages is because they have vocabulary and grammatical structure for interacting with computer. You get. They can contain unique command, acronyms, and punctuations that can be only be understand by specific tools and software. So, and at least one coding language is used to create every piece of software. However, languages differ according to platform, operating system, and writing style. So there are two types of languages, front end and back end. Yeah. So what coding is just like an art of you writing programming languages. So what's not programming language? Programming is just like a set of instruction. Programming language is just like a set of instruction you you use to tell computer what to do. Yeah, that's just a simple definition for programming languages. So is a language that our computer understand, and which is sending it to the server and our application. You get. So programming language, you have different kinds of programming language. We have scripting language, we have functional language, there are so many languages that can be used to communicate to server, that can be used to communicate to computer, which translates whatever you. So programming languages are just what's it called? They're just in the form of normal English like language. So which there will be a way, although there are categories of programming languages. We have what's it called? You have assembly language, you have machine language, you have high level language. So machine language are just like the zeros and ones that are what's it called, the computer understand. While assembly language is like the one that mixed up with German English, like with the what's it called, the numbers, the English like and numbers. Why high level language is just the one that's basically English like language that you write in English, and the code is going to return whatever the computer is going to return whatever you ask it to return. Yeah, so that's the kind of just the categories of programming languages, the languages we have in the computer. So with that, let's look at what we call what do we now mean by front end language. So what is front end? Front-end is just a portion of website or piece of software you see and you use as internet user. It's called a front end, also known as what we call a client side. Is that you call it a client side or a front end? So front end coding language enables a website to operate without needing to constantly communicate with the internet when data is transmitted from a server to a browser. Yeah, user can interact with a website, play movies, expand or decrease photos, highlight text, and more thanks to front-end code. So client-side development is done by a web developer that specialize in front-end code. Yeah, this is an example of a front-end. Look at this, all this virtual stuff you're seeing here, all this Lens Protocol community, all these things that has been written here, all these things are developed by front-end developers. You get developed by front-end developers. So this is what we call front-end. This user interface, the interface you are seeing that all user internet, like someone that wants to use the internet. So all these are known as all this content you are seeing, all this name, all these designs, they are the front end we're talking about. So there's a code for it that is being stored in the server. You get there's a code for it that has been stored in the server. That server will be communicating with it whenever you communicating with whenever you connect your internet. You always go your browser through your browser. You connect to internet through your browser. You get so that's this is what actually we call front end. Now, the next one we need to know is the back end. What is the back end? So, when using the internet, you don't see the back end. Yeah, we cannot see the back end. So, it's also known as server side. Server side, again, is a digital infrastructure which appears to non-developers as a jumble of letters, numbers and symbols. So front-end language are less common than back-end programming languages. That's because servers may be set up to grab virtually any language, whereas front-end browser only comprehend HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Yes, our back-end language is what we cannot see. It's actually aiding is a code that is being stored in the server as well. But what you only be seeing is the front end, but you only be seeing the function of the back end. That is, whatever that is on this virtual, whatever is moving back in and is taking you to another page and is working exactly the way you want it to work. All the functionalities using are called backend and the backend. For example, whenever once I click on spot me something like this, right? Ask me to write a message, right? So all these things are functions of backends. Backends are the backend function from with all this. So you see showing me all these functions. So see all these things that is appearing, the way it appears, it's whenever I click it's moving, it's going from one place, like it's going to the back end, it's going to the so yeah, so that's it. And one of the back end stuff is the back end is kind of basically connected to the server, you get. So that's actually what we mean by back end. So while the front end is the virtual stuff you're seeing. Yeah. So another thing we need to look at is what we call cybersecurity. So when we're talking about anything that is involving technology or computer or whatever, we need to talk about cybersecurity. So cybersecurity, what do you mean by cybersecurity? Is just like, for example, we say malicious actors are constantly searching for website flaws to steal data, link, leak sensitive information, and crash server. Protecting data, networks, and computers from these dangers is the practice of cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is like a way of protecting your data from being stolen by the threat actors or malicious actors, or your network, or your computer, and all those stuff. So this the practice of like protecting your data from all these things, preventing your data for all these guys are what we mean by what we call cybersecurity. Now, the next one we'll be looking at is let's look at the types of web development we have. The first one we have is known as front-end development. We have back-end development. We have full-stack development. We have website development. We have desktop development. We have mobile development. We have game development, embedded development, and security development. Yeah, front-end development means, as I said, the development of is the one that you use to create the meant to use to create this front-end, create this view you are seeing is what we mean by is the development process of developing it is what we call front developing. Do the front end. The functionalities are from the back-end developers, which the process of doing the back-end, making it to work. Okay, you sign in. I sign up to a particular okay, website, a particular website. So signing up to a particular website is what we know is it's actually what the backends is doing. For example, let's just say let's say google.com. Okay, let's see if no, not google.com. Let's look on another website that is kind of cool that we can sign in. Okay, which website can we use? I actually use Oracle. Let's see Oracle. So yeah, so Oracle, for example. So the first page that you'll be seeing is this interface you are seeing is the function of the developers. You get so if I go to view accounts, okay, so if I click on this, for example, talk to sales. So yeah, so all this interface you are seeing, all these guys, they are all these ones you are seeing, they are the front end part of it. So they're the front end, while the back end are the ones that whenever you click on it, it's going to take you to where where you want it to take you to. So it's another way. You see, there's a website. The interface you're seeing is called the front end, while the other one is called the back end. Yeah, so and each of the front end development, for example, has its own what's it called language they use, or what we call a framework. So in our next video, we're going to explain how application itself works, and we explain some languages we use for each of those what's it called just language. So we'll talk about frameworks, talk about what's it called, all like programming, coding entails, you guys. So, but in this video is we are just focusing on the introduction to web development before we start developing our website or web page. Or start from web page, then we keep developing and developing to have a website, you get. So front end development, as I explained, is just like the interface, while the back end development is just like having the knowledge of how the website is functioning, you get. While we have a full stack development, the full stack development is a process of you like we have full stack developer too. So full stack developer is just like someone who can both design the interface and also make the function work. You get. So that's the what full stack. While website development is just like a process of developing websites. So all this front end development it might not be only websites. You can develop application and all other things. You get a mobile application. Also, I'm talking about application too. We have like three types of application too. We have what they call mobile application, we have web application, you get. So we also have what they call progressive. So all those ones will be explained in the subsequent video. So our front end developers I've explained. So the full we are is on full stack. So full stack development is just like first of developing both the what they call the interface and the functionality. While the website development is just like the one that's basically specializing on developing website alone, their application. While we have desktop development, these are the process of developing what's it called, and a desktop application. For example, let me show you an example. So these are desktop applications. So something like this, or this browser. Browser is one of the desktop application. So the process of developing is of what's it called, desktop development. Why the what they call the those that developing, they call it desktop developer. So yeah, so game development, because of building games, so those are building that are called developers, that game developer. We have embedded development. So the process of developing embedded app, there's an embedded system, developing an embedded system. Security development, these are process of developing a security towards building a security. That's why we have a security engineer. So these are those are administrators, system administrators, and look at the security part of what they call development. So they are called system administrator, or we call them system engineer. So I think that's it for now. This is just an introduction to web development. In our next video, we're gonna explain how does application works, and the languages, how do we start with the languages, or we are, yeah. So, and also what we need to know that in the front end, the only language, or it is not called, it's just an hypertext. We call it hypertext language. Just like it's not class. Some developers are not classified as, some do not classify it as a a language, but why some classified as language. So we call it HTML. That's hypertext markup language. These are what they use to build all these guys, all this information you're seeing, all this text you are seeing, all these designs. So it's been built up with what we call HTML. What they call HTML, and that's the one of the that's the basic language. That's the basic language you need to know when it comes to web development. So I think in our next class, that's what we're going to be introducing to ourselves. We're going to be introducing ourselves to how to build a website, how to build a web page using HTML. You're going to learn HTML language as the first language you're going to learn. Then before we move to CSS and JavaScript, then we'll move to other part and the likes. So thanks you for watching the video. Please subscribe to my channel. Just click on the notification to have more of this. Thank you.